Hi YouTube, in this video I'm just going to do something a little bit different, a little bit retro. I'm going to do a review of a G1 Soundwave. This is actually a Takara reissue that I got several years ago, and that was back when the exchange rate between the yen and the dollar was a little bit different. So you could actually get Takara toys for not much more than their American counterparts. So I actually went ahead and splurged for the Takara version back then. As you can see, I've got Soundwave and his friend Laserbeak there in their respective robot modes. I'm going to go ahead and give you the full 360 around Soundwave here. Great looking mold. He's actually one of my favorite G1 toys. Really like the way he looks. He's pretty well detailed for a G1 toy. His articulation is actually pretty good for a G1 toy. He bends there at the top of the leg. His knee bends in a little bit. His foot can move up a little bit. I mean, that's not really meaningful. And he can spin there at the top of his leg. His arm rotates all the way around at the shoulder. Can go back somewhat. Bends at the elbow. Nothing at the wrist. And he's got head rotation. And for a G1 toy, that's actually pretty good. His little friend Laserbeak here. Pretty cool looking little accessory, obviously. His wings can move some in two spots. And his head has two, well, head and neck. His neck goes down there. His head goes up and down. Really cool looking little guy. I like the way G1 Laserbeak looks a good amount. Pretty good detail. He comes with two weapons. He comes with his classic shoulder cannon and of course his hand cannon. And as you can see, he fires his missile. I really dig this guy a lot. And if you're a Soundwave fan, I think you should definitely have him. I'm really looking forward to the American release of Masterpiece Shockwave. I can't wait to get him. I know the Takara version is out currently, but it's pretty darn expensive, so I'm just going to wait for the American Hasbro releases. I'm sure it will cost less. But I did go ahead and just bite the bullet and order the Takara version of Masterpiece Sideswipe because I don't think he's going to be coming out in the US. So yeah, I paid 90 bucks for him, but I think he'll be worth it. Anyway, the way I like to display my G1 Soundwave is I have a little Ravage here. This actually came with a Hound figure, a classic Hound figure that I got several years ago. So I like to put him right there, and we got a couple little Energon cubes that came with some reissue Insecticons that I also got a little while back. I do a few size comparisons here. There's a Transformers Prime Deluxe Soundwave. As you can see, G1 Soundwave is quite a bit larger than him. Here is War for Cybertron Deluxe Soundwave. And just for a bit of fun, we've got a animated Soundwave right here next to him. So as you can see, he's a bit larger than a Deluxe. He's about the size, let's compare him to a Voyager just for fun. We got Ultra Magnus here, so he's maybe roughly the size of a Voyager, roughly, as far as height goes. Maybe not quite as bulky, but he's definitely that tall. That pretty much wraps it up for robot mode. I will be back in a flash with his alternate mode. And here he is in his alternate mode. As you can see, he transforms into a cassette recorder / player. Now I know you don't see too many of these things out on the street today in 2013. But back in the 80s, they were pretty common. Also, I think reporters do still occasionally use them to take audio notes or do interviews with people, or maybe students use it to record lectures. Although honestly, nowadays, I think more people probably use smartphones for that with an SD card in there. You can get quite a lot of audio, more than you ever could on a cassette, but I digress. In 30 years, maybe a smartphone will be just as ridiculous as a cassette player is now. Something to think about. I mean, we've already pretty much seen the rise and fall of MP3 players since they've been integrated into smartphones, so I'm sure eventually smartphones will go the way of the cassette player. Anyway, just going to go ahead and show off the details on him. He's got buttons.
They don't really do anything, can't really press in on them, but it's nice to see the details there.
He's got some stickers that have some words on them. Of course, he can eject his tape, which of course is Laserbeak in cassette mode. And he can only hold one. I don't have the Sound Blaster mold, so he just holds the one cassette. And he's got a little counter indicator here that used to be on some tape recorders. He's got I guess that would be a power switch, volume slider. He's got a, quote, battery cover. What's really neat about that is his batteries, so-called batteries anyway, are just his weapons, which is pretty neat. I like that. That's a cool little touch. Go ahead and slide that back on there. It even has a belt clip. If this was a working radio, I guess you could take it with you on your belt. And that's pretty much it for... Oh, and he has a little headphone port there. Of course, it doesn't work because this isn't a real cassette player. You can't use them to listen to music or anything. It's just a toy. But it's nice to see the detailing there. Overall, I would say this definitely belongs in your collection, especially if you're a Soundwave fan. I personally cannot wait for the Masterpiece version of him to come out, the American one. Because the rumor is that he will come with all of the cassette tapes. Laserbeak, Buzzsaw, Ravage, Rumble, and Frenzy, I believe. And if that is the case, that is going to be awesome. That pretty much wraps up this review. Thanks for watching, and I will see you next time.